Hello, I am Kevin Dewayne, and I'm Creative Director of IamKevinDewayne.com and Creative Director of Supreme Cleaning Academy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to discuss how I keep my employees happy. How I keep my employees happy. So there's a lot of different things that I've learned over the years, a lot of different techniques and strategies that I apply that keeps people around. It keeps people loyal, it keeps people working at maximum efficiency, and it just creates great relationships, great bonds, and it helps not only the business grow, but you're also growing your employees. So let's get into it. So one of the top questions that I get from other entrepreneurs that are in the cleaning business is, what do you pay, or what should I pay? And you will find that if you stick around this business long enough, that some entrepreneurs in the cleaning business, they stick around the minimum wage mark for whatever reason. They stick around the minimum wage mark. But you don't necessarily, if you're pricing your contracts the right way, you don't have to stick around the minimum wage mark just to maximize your profits. You can still pay your employees above minimum wage and still make a good amount of money if you're doing business the right way. So again, when I'm working with people and I'm going through the processes, I find gaps and I find holes where they're spending money where they don't need to be spending money that they could be using for their business, for their operations, and to pay their people better wages. So although money is not the only thing that keeps people around, it's not the only motivator. There are several other things that keep people motivated and keep people around. First and foremost, it's about you and your character and how you treat people and how you come across as a manager. Whether you have, a dictator type of style of management, whether you're an authoritative type, whether you're a passive type, whether you're passive aggressive. There's all different types of personality types when it comes to leadership style. And then you have to know the difference of if you're being a leader or if you're being a boss. There's two different things in that also. So your employees are going to respond to who you are as a person. It's just like with working with a prospective customer. They're buying you just as much as they're buying your services. It's the same with employment. When people quit a job, they're normally not quitting the job. They're quitting the boss. They're leaving their boss because they can't stand their boss, because their boss is a poor leader or they're not a leader at all. So people don't necessarily leave great leaders. They leave bosses, and that's the difference. So that's one area of discussion. So you kind of need to figure out what type of person you are when it comes to your management style, because you may be running off really good people just by your style and your personality, because your personality ultimately leads into your style of management. So, you have to have hard looks at yourself, and you need to give your employees a survey every once in a while, and, build a tough skin about yourself and put your feelings to the side and try to figure out how you're being perceived from your staff, because it makes a huge difference in whether you're going to be able to keep your staff around or not. So you need to know what your management style is. And there's a lot of different personality type tests that are out there that are available that you can find online. A lot of them are for free. A lot of them you can get online. They're for a minimum amount of pay. So they're out there, but you just have to seek them out. But you need to understand what type of management style that you have. Now, when it comes to pay, what do you pay? Now, again, my rule is I try to pay at least $1.50 to $2 above minimum wage. That has always been my standard. It always tends to work well for me as well as the employee, because it shows that we're not just a minimum wage firm. We are trying to maximize our dollar amount. And again, if your processes and if your operations are right, you should still make a great profit, even if you're paying $1.50 to $2 above minimum wage, despite where you are in the country. And I know, that minimum wage is a lot higher in other areas. I know in certain areas of the country, the competition is a lot more stiff. So you may have to tighten down your numbers a lot more if you're trying to win a contract. But at the same time, if you have everything in place like it's supposed to be in place, there should be some wiggle room for you to pay your employees at least $1.50 to $2 above minimum wage. Now, when it comes to pay as well, you need to look at whether you should pay your employees by the hour or if you should be paying them by the job. And that's two different things. So my rule with that is, if it's a large contract and I have multiple employees in a particular facility or building, then I'll pay them consistently, usually the same dollar amount, depending on whether it's been a long-term employee that I had to stick in there or not. But typically, I'm paying them all the same dollar amount. So for example, just easy math, let's say $12 an hour. And everybody's working 6 to 10, 4 hours a night, Monday through Friday. Everybody is getting the exact same number of hours. Everybody's getting the exact same pay per hour. So it's just fair. It's just consistent. It's easier when you're processing payroll and you're calculating your numbers. And it creates less tension because you really, in that situation, you're usually not going to have an outlier where somebody's making a much higher amount than everyone else, and it's just creating bad blood and tension, and you got people coming telling you that things are not fair, and you're just starting to get into that whole headache. So that's why I try to pay a fair wage across the board. And I pay by the hour in situations like that. When there's multiple employees at one spot, I'll pay consistently across the board per hour. Now, when I pay by the job, it's typically when I have one employee and I have to put them in an odd contract. So let's say, for example, I have them working in a manufacturing plant or something. And let's say the job is billed for 4 hours a night. But we find that on days where production is light, that the cleaning is actually a lot easier and the employee could get done in an hour's time. Now, let's say on days where production is heavy and they're going in that facility clean, and it's going to take them 4 hours a night to get their work done. So you have, different variables that's creating different hours. So some days are getting out early, some days are getting out late. So on an instance like that, I'll pay them by the job. So it benefits the employee, it benefits you, because you can say, okay, I'm going to pay you said amount of dollars regardless of how long it takes you. So if you get done fast, hey, so be it, long as you didn't shorten this on the quality of work. If it takes you a little bit longer, so be it. So it's just like you're paying them a salary. But that's called in our industry paying by the job. So there are some huge benefits of paying by the job, just as it is with paying by the hour, but it just really depends on what's going on. There's different variables. So I gave you the example of when I pay by the hour, but if it's typically just one employee and they're in an odd contract where the hours are going to differ consistently, then I'll just pay them by the job. Now, you have to be clear that the employee understands that they're likely going to be 1099 in a situation where they're being paid by the job, and they're going to be responsible for the taxes at the end of the year. So there needs to be a very clear understanding between you and that employee, and they know they need to set money to the side to take care of their taxes, because in essence, when you're 1099ing them, they're really not an employee. That's kind of a gray area right there, and I'm not going to get into it right now. But they're kind of getting into subcontracting territory when you're talking about 1099ing someone. So, if you want to clean that up, then you could tell them that, you're going to essentially pay them a salary and you're going to withhold their taxes. But it's all really the same. You just have to figure out how you're going to handle the taxes and who's going to be responsible for the taxes, because there's no real way around that. No way around it that's not going to lead into some trouble, I should say that. So those are the different two things that I'll do as far as pay. I'll determine whether I need to pay by the hour, by the job. And then I provide some type of fringe benefit to my employee. Whether I'm just starting out, whether I've been in the business for several years, it doesn't matter. I always try to put the employee first. And when I'm working with somebody, when I'm consulting with somebody, I recommend they do the same because I see the difference in how far and how fast it could take your business to the next level when you're taking care of your employees. So you have to create some type of fringe benefits, and they can be very, very simple. They can be so simple that it could cost you very little money, but the benefit that you receive from it is astronomical, and it goes far beyond a dollar amount anyway. So for example, one of the things that I'll do is that if I see someone that's going above and beyond, they're doing a job well done, and they've been doing a job well done consistently, somebody is covering for somebody or something, or any of those types of things, I'll just simply give people a $20 gas card. And you'll be surprised, you'll be amazed at how far a simple, random $20 gas card will go for an employee, especially someone who really needs the money and they're supplementing their income, and they may be struggling. People have different needs nowadays, and everybody is really just trying to make it nowadays, if you will. So something even as simple as a $20 gas card can go a very long way for an employee, and the appreciation that they'll give you behind that is great. And again, it goes beyond money itself. Another thing I'll do is I'll provide them with a birthday card. I'll I'll keep reminders in my notepad or in my phone, and I'll remember birthdays, and I'll present them with a birthday card with movie tickets or something like that. And again, these types of things, they go a very long way with the employee. I'll gather my employees together, and maybe once a month or once a quarter or every other month or whatever, and we'll just have a pizza party or something. And these are things that also goes a very long way with your staff. Showing some type of employee appreciation where you're just simply, giving them an award or something for attendance, or, someone made a one year employment with you, and you're just presenting them with a certificate in front of the other staff members. These are things that go a long way for your business. And just because you're a small business doesn't mean you don't have the capability or you don't have the reach for as resources are concerned to be able to do these things, because you can. You just have to seek these things out. Also, in addition to that, I make sure that I look at titles when I'm hiring employees. So I may have, a team leader position. I may have just a straight lead position. I may have a supervisor position. I may have a managerial position. Even if when you're providing these titles to your employees, even if they're only managing one or two people, the fact that they receive some type of promotion, even in title, it goes a long way with your employees, because it shows that they're progressing, and it shows that they have been recognized by your company, of doing a job well done, and they deserve a new title. So titles alone go a very, very long way with an employee, whether it's frontline staff, whether it's middle management, or even at the executive level. Titles mean a lot to employees. So, you're helping them build, their career. It's something that they can build into their resume, and it just looks good for them, and it shows that you are developing people. But, along the way, if you're promoting people, you want to make sure that they are really being developed, and you're helping them with their administrative skills. You're helping them with their managerial skills. So, there's a benefit for everybody that's involved in that. So these are the different ways that I keep people around. These are the different ways that I keep people happy. Because when you have happy employees, they don't mind coming to work, they're doing a job well done, it's going to take your business to the next level. So there are things that you could do that are far beyond pay, and I'm just scratching the surface on these things for the sake of time. but there's a lot of things that you can do that are far beyond pay that employees will appreciate just as much as the pay itself, if not more in certain cases. So that's my takeaway for today. If you're just now finding my channel, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.